Tefillah, tefillah for men, for women, Shema, Yachas HaTorah. We spent a couple weeks on that. The beauty of that bracha, or the series of brachot. I thought we'd try to get a little bit into the holiday mode. I need some uplifters at this time.
We started last night.
Ah, very good. So it has to be machloket mishnichnas adar marbe besimcha. Does that apply to the first adar or not? There are different opinions on that. There are different opinions, but either way, adar is the around the corner. So I thought I'd learn a little bit in honor of adar, and always look. So that's it. So we have what's it called? So we have it is a simcha. It's a simcha. Adam yishnech amav simcha. And even though the real simcha is in the second month, there's no question about it. Still, it's a good time. And there's actually a fascinating sort of side point that comes up over here in the beginning of Hilchos Purim. You have Tanis Esther, which when it comes closer to Tanis Esther, we'll learn some of those details. But in Taf Reish Pei Vav, it says the following. Yesh mitanim. So we go ahead and we have Tanis on Yud Gimel Adar, the 13th of Adar, we have Tanis. Vimchal Purim Bechad B'Shabbos. And if you have Purim on Sunday, so when do we do Tanis Esther? Thursday, exactly. Now, the Gemara says we don't push up Tisha B'Av. We don't push up Tisha B'Av. We don't push up fast days. The Gemara says, Magdima Poranusa Lo Magdamina. We don't push up sad days. There's one fast day that we do push up, Tanis Esther. Why? Why? So the answer is the other fast days, all of them are to remember what? Zeicha l'migdash, sad time, Avelis of the Migdash, all four connected to the Migdash. Shivas Tammuz, Tisha B'Av, both connected directly to the Migdash. Asar B'Tevei, surrounded by the enemies. Som Gedalia, the last vestige of hope. Gedalia was killed after the first Korban. So all connected to the Migdash. Tanis Esther was to reenact that we had a fast, we went to war, and we were victorious. It's not a sad day. It led to the Geula. So we're reenacting it. So if it doesn't work out, of course, Sunday is Purim, and Saturday is going to be the fast, and we're not going to fast Saturday, and we're not going to push it to Friday if it's not the right day, only when it falls on like Shabbat. So then we'll push it to Thursday, and we're not bringing on Pur Anut earlier because it's not Pur Anut, it's not a sad day. So it's a very unique day, Tanis Esther. Then he goes on, and listen to this minhag. I don't know if anyone in this room is keeping this minhag. Yesh mitanim. This is from the Maseches Sofrim, earlier authority. The Shulchan Aruch quotes. Esther. Very good. And we remember Tanis Esther, literally. We have what we call Tanis Esther, but you want to do the real Tanis Esther. Yeah, Perish. So when do you do these 3 days? When is this minhag? He says the following. Perish, Sheni, Chamishi, V'Sheni, Monday, Thursday, Monday, it's known as Bahab, Bet, Hey Bet. Now, we're used to Bahab after Tishrei and after Nisan. Okay? He's saying that there's another Bahab, Bet, Hey Bet, Monday, Thursday, Monday. And when do you do this? Achar Purim. After Purim, so you probably wait till after Shushan. The next Monday, Thursday, Monday after Shushan Purim, fast for 3 days. Who's ready to join in? Okay, fine. Moving on. So that's it. Okay. Anyways, there you go. Intermittent fasting. Here we go. It started here. Anyways, so the Be'er Hagola is this reference source. He tells you, where did the Shulchan Aruch get this from? He got this from the Rambam, from the Rif, from the Rosh, from the Gemara directly. So that's what he usually does. Once in a while, he adds in a note or two. He does that here. Tor b'shem Masechet Sofrim. So this is from the Tor. That was the son of the Rosh, great posek. From Masechet Sofrim, an early Tanakh source. Wait. If you check out the dates, the calendar in Megillas Esther, that was in Nisan that she fasted. Right. Pesach time that she was fasting. So that's when we should fast. If you want to remember, her Taniyot, Tanis Esther, so fast when she fasted. Why don't we? Lo ratzud lahatanot b'Nisan lefisha negalu bo avotenu, because that was the Geula month. So you don't want to add fast days onto that month. And something else happened in that month. Ukam Hamishkan. Moshe in the Midbar, that's when he finished the Mishkan. So it's a happy month, Nisan. So we don't want to throw fast days onto that are not absolutely obligatory. So Tanis Bechorot we do, because that's its actual time. And that's the minhag in Klal Yisrael. But to throw more fast days, yes, chronologically, historically, that's when it happened, in Nisan. But this whole Chumrah, they don't want to take upon themselves in Nisan. So those who want to do it, I don't know anyone who does do Bahav after. I know the people that have the minhag Bahav after Tishrei and after Nisan, where they have extra davening, extra slichos. I don't know if anyone fasts. I'm not sure. Where did that start from? Anyone know? What's the concept of Bahav after Tishrei and after Nisan? You're not going to believe it. You know where it came from? That during the Chagim, what may have happened during the Chagim? Maybe we went a little overboard. Maybe we went overboard, and we partied a little too much, drank a little too much, too many lachayims. Maybe the behavior wasn't so appropriate. Maybe men and women, a little kalas rosh, lightheadedness. So in case you went a little overboard, that's how the minhag started of Bahav. Isn't that fascinating? So, but if you ask the average person, Bahav, they'll tell you, after Tishrei and after Nisan, you have Bahav. No, when's there a third mentioned in the postscript? So, Lamaisa, I don't know if anyone does it, but it's mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch. Okay? Isn't that fascinating? So it's mentioned in Tavchav Tes B'Hachas Pesach. Okay? It's mentioned there. And it's mentioned over there. It's mentioned by Sukkot and Pesach to do it then if you want. And now it's over here. Is that interesting? And so then, what do we call Tanis Esther that we do? What is that Tanis based on? What's that Tanis? Anyone want to guess? It's not based on Esther. Esther's Tanis is the 3-day Tanis, which none of us do. So what is the Tanis that we call Tanis Esther? So you're not going to believe it. What? Yeah, and based on what? So you're not going to believe it. It's based on the following. On the 13th, we were fighting. They said, Hashem, we need help here. We need help. Any army, strongest army, weakest army, we need you, Hashem. We're partners with you, Hashem. Without your partnership, we're done. Everything is a partnership with Hashem. Right? And they fasted on the day that they went to war. Just like when we went to war with Amalek, we fasted. He fasted. So we fasted also. So therefore we have the minute to fast. So then if that's the case, why is it called Tanis Esther? But Nikra Tanis Esther Kedei Liskosh Hashem Yibrach Ro'ev Shomeya Kol Ish Be'es Saraso Kseyitana v'Yashuv El Hashem B'chol Levavo. When we return to Hashem, He hears us, He sees us, and then he adds in what we mentioned over here. He adds in another point. So Tanis Esther is because of that Tanis that the nation did. And Hashem, you saved Esther then, you saved Klal Yisrael then, because of the tshuva. Please do the same for us. It's not like the sad fast days. So we said one factor is you can't push it early. He says something else. On other fasts, we don't have weddings on the night before Shiva Sabbath Tammuz, night of Sabbath Teves. It's pasinus. It's already, you're not fasting yet, but it's a sad day. Tanis Esther, you can have a wedding on Tanis Esther at the night before, because so he says that because it's not a sad day. Rav Yashiv says, he says, no, I happen to maintain. Rav Yashiv says, no, on a Sabbath Tavis, you can do it at night. The fast begins in the day, not at night. But even those who say you can't have a wedding on the night before because it's already a sad time, that's not Tanis Esther. So we learned a lot of interesting things over here. That Tanis Esther, there's two Tanis Esthers. The Tanis Esther that we know, that's because of the national fast that we had before we went into the war. And then you have a unique and a bit obscure Tanis Esther of 3 days, which when she fasted in Nisan 3 days, we don't do it in Nisan because it's a happy month. It was the time of the Gula and the Mishkan. But those who want to be machmir, we do it after Purim. As I said, I don't know anyone who does Bahab in fasting after Purim. I don't know who does Bahab in Slichos after Purim. I just know in Cheshvan and Iyar. Anyways, it's fascinating stuff, the history of Tanis Esther. And then listen to this beautiful, beautiful Mishnah Berurah. He says, Mishenichnas Adar Marbin B'Simcha. When you have Adar begins, you have Simcha, right? That we know. And Mishesh Lo Din Im Akum. You have a din with a guy, Yishbot Ba'Adar, then you should have it in Adar. It's a good mazel for us. And then Yecholim B'nei Ir Letakein B'Haskama Uvecherim Aleim V'Abim Achim. A city can make a very serious decree, to everyone in the city and all future residents of the city, Lasot Purim B'Yom Shenasa Bones, to make their own type of Purim, to make a commemoration day for a miracle that happened. And the commentaries say, and the Suda you have on that day is a Sudas mitzvah, because any Suda that you make to remember Hashem's miracles is a Sudas mitzvah. You got it. So those, it sounds like Yom Ha'atzmaut, absolutely. Of course. It's a Sudas mitzvah, a barbecue on Yom Ha'atzmaut, the way many of us hold. It's not a shtick. And it's based on this Mishnah Berurah, that on a day that, because people always say about Yom Ha'atzmaut that you can't make a new holiday. Who are you to make up a new holiday? What kind of chutzpah is that? The Rabbanut in 1948, as the state was developing and they were codifying Yom Ha'atzmaut as a day of celebration, who's making a new holiday? What kind of chutzpah is that? What kind of chutzpah is that? Well, the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah has the concept of creating a new holiday. Now, is this the end of discussion? Absolutely not. This is just the beginning. This is just the opening source in our Mishnah Berurah, and this just opens the sugya. Maybe we get closer to Yom Ha'atzmaut, we'll explore it more, but this just opens up the topic that, oh, wow, you have the greatest posek in the 20th century, the Chafetz Chaim, the most accepted posek in the 20th century, and he's saying, he brings down the concept of making a new holiday. Now, he doesn't give us details. All he says over here is that the city can make a strong agreement, haskama, and a chayrim, meaning you're in chayrim, you're excommunicated if you don't follow it. You must be part of the tzibor. Don't separate yourself from the tzibor. Aleihim v'alba'im acharihim lasot Purim bayom shenatze bones. So now this just opens up an unbelievable topic, okay? That, wait, so Hey Iyar is the day that the war began and 5 armies attacked us. That's the day of the Nace. Hey Iyar historically is also the day. Why did they attack on that day? Because that's the day we announced Hakamat Medina. Now the world gave us the UN. Now we say Yamach Shemam Zechronam, without a suffix. It's release of it. It's not an extreme statement at all. It's a vicious, horrible organization. UNRWA, it's billions of dollars that go there. And did you know that they were building 500 miles underground? You didn't know this. Rishus on the highest of level. Rishus not only to us, rishus to the Palestinian people. They didn't make sure the funds go to help the people. It's rishus, evil on all accounts, pure evil. And the UN is the head of the UNRWA. It's pure evil. So, the only reason they existed, you could argue, is for 1947 when they voted to create Medinat Yisrael. They should have been disbanded, but whatever reason, they weren't. Anyways, so that was, they gave us international permission. That goes back a few decades earlier to Herzl. He said, you know what? All the Jews coming in the 1800s, called all you guys with the agricultural communities and this community and that community, if you don't have an international standing, it's going to fall apart. And it was going to be able to throw you out. And he worked like a dog till his death to get that international movement going. And then it resulted in 1917 Balfour Declaration, 1920 the San Remo Conference, 1947 the UN vote. And he was right. Of course, as much as the world against Iran, just they don't care about any international agreement. They want to destroy us. But even the most vicious of the European countries, and they say they don't say officially, they might feel it, but they don't say officially that we have to be destroyed from the river to the sea. That's not the EU. They're saying we have to go back to the 48 lines. But most civilized countries are saying we do have, the Jews are entitled to something. It might be a sliver, but something. It's only the extreme Islamic countries where they don't know, just got to wipe us off the map. Chas v'shalom. So it was amazing what Herzl accomplished till this day, that we have an international standing. It's just very, very wobbly, to say the least. So what did we do on Hey Iyar? We announced that we are declaring the state. We took advantage of the international permit, and then we announced that we are establishing the state. And then the war began. So that would fulfill the criteria of you can make a formal agreement and for the people in that B'nai Ear to make a Purim. Whatever that Purim is, we don't know yet. So that's a Chiddush. So the poskim analyze it. And there's 2 major discussions here. A, is the whole Hakamat Medina a great blessing or not? I think all of us in the room hopefully agree it is, but many of our holy brothers don't. So for them, there's not an ace here to begin the topic. For those of us believe there was an amazing ace, and now we have to get into the question, well, which day was an ace? Beginning of the war, when we declared state, or at the end of the war, that the ceasefire. So those are all the details. And then once you figure out what day to do it on, but what do you do on that day? He doesn't say Hallel. Mishmur doesn't mention a word about Hallel, and we say Hallel. So the poskim do say Sudat Mitzvah. The easiest thing in terms of once you establish a day, having a Suda Mangal on that day, it clearly, to me, once you define that as the day, then if the next step of having a Sudat Mitzvah that's defined as that, to me, is Pasha. Defining which day is the right day, saying Hallel with bracha, that's what things get, a little bit confusing and delicate, and you have serious poskim on both sides. Anyways, just want to do a little bit of a happy topic during these hard times for all of Klal Yisrael and Beit Shemesh. Beit Shemesh has been hit hard. Rehov Reuven and Beit Shemesh, Scheinfeld area, 4 kids just from those 2 blocks. It's just this week. Rosh Hashiva of Shalei Torah, his son. It's just unbelievable. The Reuven Shimon blocks of, I think it was 4 kids over the last few months within 2 minutes of each other. These are hard times for Beit Shemesh, for all the Klal Yisrael. So I thought maybe a little bit of a happy topic as we get ready for Adar, and let's just summarize the key points. Number 1, Tanis Esther has a double meaning. Tanis Esther, as we know it, is really all of us fasted, according to Mishnah Berurah. And we call it Tanis Esther because she was one of the main players involved. But we fasted in the 1 Yud Gimel, and that's why we commemorate it. It's not really a sad time because Baruch Hashem, it worked out well. So it's not a Paranos, it's a happy time. So 2 things come out of that. A, we could push it up early, even though we don't push sad days up early. And B, you could have a wedding at night. Even those who say they can't have a wedding the night before a fast because it's not a sad day. Then you have a new Tanis Esther, which we never heard of before. A Tanis Esther on 3-day fast. And why? To remember her fast in Nisan. We don't want to do it in Nisan. Why? Because it's a happy month. We have the Mishkan was built then, and because we redeemed then. So we do a Bahab, Bet, Hey Bet, after Purim, right after Purim. So the other 2 Bahabs, many shuls around the world do Bahab, Bet, Hey Bet after Nisan, after Tishrei, because if they made Mekalas Rosh lightheadedness during the time, I don't know if anyone does this Bahab mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch over here, but it's fascinating to know. And that is another kind of Tanis Esther. Then the Mishnah Berurah goes in and adds on as a side point, you should just know, you can make your own Purim. A city can make their own Purim. Wow, make your own Purim. What about you don't make new holidays? No, you can. So on a day of a nation, you can make for that city and all future generations. So does that mean you could do this for all of Klal Yisrael like Yom Ha'atzmaut? That's a good question. And what day are you going to do it on? The day that the war began was also the day that we declared the state. That was a phenomenal event too. And what are you going to do on those days? That's all questions that are discussed by the poskim. Of course, it's only discussed by the poskim who hold the Medina is a great bracha and miracle. Our holy brothers that don't see it, then that's not a shaila for them. Either the extreme ones are going to have sackcloth, are going to be mourning on that day, more the Satmar position, and many of the holy brothers just neutral. They're not doing sackcloth, they're not celebrating, just another day. Okay, I personally think that, it's a sad loss for our holy brothers who missed this show and this great gift that God gave us, but that's a whole nother discussion. Anyways, so Tav Reish Pei Vav in the Shulchan is really a fascinating siman, and nice to get us into a little bit of the spirit of Adar that's coming along. Some nice upbeat halachot. And Yetz Hashem, we should go Mechayel L'Chayel, Mesimcha L'Simcha. My pleasure. Take care. Be well. Everyone should be well. She just has